Hi, I'm Clifton Fuller. Today let's talk about domestic violence. Right now we're in the middle of a pandemic and domestic violence has become epidemic itself. Domestic violence is always a serious issue in our culture and we struggle with it every day. Domestic violence typically is due to a sense of frustration and the difficulty in control. It's a power situation where people are trying to control other people. Sometimes husbands try to control wives. Often all adults have to control children. And if we get really frustrated and we really have a lot of difficulty doing that, then domestic violence becomes a real issue. During this pandemic, children are staying at home. People are isolated. Adults have lost their jobs. So we're spending much more time together and we're trying to do a lot together. It is very frustrating for most of us to try to be the teacher and the parent and the babysitter. So we're trying to entertain our children, we're trying to keep them occupied, we're also trying to get them to do their schoolwork, and those are roles that we don't normally play. That leads to a lot of frustration. If the children have behavioral issues, some children are ADHD, other children are autistic, other children have just a host of educational difficulties. When I was a child, I was dyslexic, and so those children are more difficult to educate, they're more difficult to keep focused, and so the frustration just rises and rises. When men lose their job and they have to sit around the house, they begin to feel out of control. When we're having economic issues and we have to worry about can we pay the rent, are we going to get evicted, all of our stress levels go up. And in this really stressful pressure cooker, that's when domestic violence really rises. And so, in fact, the domestic homicide is almost doubled during this pandemic. We're setting records for abuse. And all of us need to pitch in and help. If you're getting frustrated, if you feel like you're losing control, if it's just wearing out your system, then ask for help. Many of the difficulties in parenting children come from the fact that we don't all just inherently know what's the best way to get control of a child, or to get the child to do something that they don't enjoy doing, such as schoolwork. How to take away the screens, because they'd much rather look at the TV or look at their video games than do their homework. And we also lose outlets that we can relieve stress. We don't get to go outside, we don't get to exercise, they don't get to play, they may love school simply because they get to be with their friends, and now we're all isolated. Those of us who have friends or family members who have small children or who are facing economic distress will need our help, and so we need to support them. We need to call them, we need to check on them. Here in the state of Texas, you must report suspected cases of abuse. If you call your friends and there's weeping and wailing and shouting in the background, you need to show concern. You need to ask if you can help. If you know where resources are, if there are food drives, if there are grants, if there's any way to provide economic support or just moral support for these people, any group can help. Churches, community groups, the United Way. Look at all the resources that you can find and help people who are in distress. It is merely frustration. Now, when adults are frustrated, then children get frustrated. Children cannot express themselves like adults. And so they act out their emotions. And they're not trying to drive us nuts. It's just that they don't know what to do and they don't know how to handle this stress. Try to get them outside, try to get them occupied. Try to be as positive as you can. The idea is the more effective you are in your parenting, go on the internet, try to figure out more effective ways to parent children. And what works with one child will not work with another child. Try to praise children as much as you can. Try to be positive rather than negative. Let's talk in an inside voice. Let's go do our homework as opposed to stop jumping on the couch. Let's play with the ball instead of tearing up the living room. The whole idea is that we need to relax as much as we can. We need to let go as much as we can and just get through this all together. If you like what you heard today and you'd like more information or you'd like to see other articles, please go to cliftonfullercounseling.com.